there's this argument, debate, discussion that I've had in the past so many times with people, and I've kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. As you may know, I'm a big believer in the paranormal. You know, things like ghosts and spirits to a certain extent, aliens, UFOs, certain cryptids, and certain other paranormal things. And at the same time, as you may know as well, I'm not really a believer in God, or at least a Christian God or anything like that. I don't really believe in any of that or follow any of that, really. And yeah, that's where the argument, debate, discussion lies. Like, how can I believe in one thing but not believe in the other thing? You know, how can I believe in the paranormal, something that's ambiguous and really uncertain, has a lot of uncertainty to it, but yet I draw the line at believing that God and you know, Christianity and everything else. Like, why do I believe in one thing but not the other? And it's kind of, well, I do agree that, you know, there is a lot of, you know, believing in the paranormal is ambiguous, and it comes with a lot of uncertainty. I will agree with you on that. You know, because there's no definite proof of any of the paranormal stuff that you believe in actually existing. You know, even if, unless you, like, you know, see something, have an account or have a sighting or whatever, but even then sometimes it's not 100%, you know, that it's actually real and that's actually what you saw and everything. So there is a lot of, you know, uncertainty, but there's also a lot of uncertainty with belief in God as well. You know, honestly, I would say there's even more, but yeah, because you don't, no one really knows for sure if God exists or not. There's never been no actual proof or evidence of God's existence or anything like that. So yeah, it's like, that's another thing that's just, it's another belief that's just really uncertain. You know, just like the belief in the paranormal. But, but with the belief in the paranormal, it's a lot more of a fun and positive thing to believe in. You know, it's fun. It's interesting to think about. It's interesting to, you know, think about the possibility of, you know, those kinds of things existing. It's interesting. It's fun. It's positive. You know, most of the time, you know, you're not going to really have any really negative experiences believing in the paranormal that much. You might, of course, but yeah. And also, you're not going to have a lot of the oppressive, strict rules and regulations and guidelines when you're believing in the paranormal. You just won't. It's not a thing, you know. Like, say you believe in Bigfoot. Bigfoot is not going to suddenly tell you how you should live your life and what you should do with your life, and, you know, have all these rules and regulations and guidelines and everything about your life. No, because that's just not going to happen. But, you know, with belief in God, Christianity, whatever, that's exactly what happens. Suddenly there's this oppressive force telling you how you should live your life, giving you all these strict rules and guidelines and stuff to follow, stuff to do, telling you exactly how you should live your life. And it's just not really a positive experience, honestly. And yeah, it's just not. And I know this because I used to believe in God. I used to be a Christian myself, you know, and I've never really had that much of a positive experience, you know. When I used to believe in God, all I ever got was, you know, stress, anxiety, always having to worry about following these, you know, rules and guidelines. Always worrying about, accidentally breaking these rules or guidelines. I'd always be constantly thinking about that, and worrying about it, and it just caused me nothing but stress and anxiety and worry and you know negative things. Plus, there was a lot of other negative things as well. A lot of other negativity when it comes to belief in God. You know, it's more negative than it is positive, at least for me. But yeah, unlike with the belief in the paranormal, belief in the paranormal is always usually positive. You know, it's fun. It's interesting. It's fun to think about. It's interesting to think about the possibility of things like that existing. But with God, it's just with belief in God, it's just like basically you're having to listen to a master all the time. You know, and it's not fun. It's not really interesting either. You know, it's just more negative than it is anything. But yeah. So yeah, I rather believe in the paranormal than God. That's just me. And also, yes, the belief in the paranormal is, like I said, it comes with a lot of uncertainty. It's really ambiguous at times and everything, whether these things exist or not. But at least it's a little bit more concrete. The belief is a little bit more concrete. It's a little bit more believable than, belief in God. Because at least, there actually it has been sightings of these, these things, these paranormal things. There's at least some kind of proof. Unlike with God, you rarely ever see sightings of God. I mean, sometimes you do. With like maybe some religious nutcase or whatever shows a picture of a face in the cloud or something. But that's just pareidolia, or that's just them being crazy and thinking they see something. Or maybe they just Photoshop something. But, yeah. It's just really less believable than, belief in the paranormal. It just really is. At least to me. And that's always kind of why I chose, or, rather believe in the paranormal, believe in all these paranormal things, than believe in God and Christianity and whatnot. And yeah, that's just kind of my whole take on all that. And that's usually what I try to tell people, whenever this argument, debate, discussion comes up. And they still, have that same question of, oh, why is one thing more believable than this thing? And blah, 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 blah. And I I even after explaining, they still have that same question, and I basically just have to repeat myself constantly. But yeah, it is what it is. I believe in paranormal things more than I believe in God. If that makes me weird or seem more crazy or whatever, then that's fine. But